first one, I was 23 or 24. It might have been closer to 24. And I had a very cool job, like dream job. As an intern, got the job before I even graduated college. And anybody else would have been like, yes, this is the job. And it was amazing, and I learned a ton. But I sat there and thought, is this where I see myself when I'm my boss's age? And I don't think that's normal. I think I'm kind of an old soul. But I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think this is it. I don't think this is what I meant to do, or it didn't feel meaningful enough. The cool factor was there, but it didn't feel meaningful enough. So I felt like I needed to make a change.
What did you do next? Because a lot of people feel like that, but then never do anything.
So lots of Google searches about other jobs that I could switch to that maybe were, like I started looking at nonprofits, and I thought maybe that would feel more meaningful if it was a different mission. But then that wasn't it, and then I thought, well, maybe I need to go back to school, so I kind of looked at grad school, and then I was like, no, because in the industry I was looking, it was sort of like I'd be working in a hospital or a nursing home, and I'm like, no, that's not it either. I knew I wanted to serve people, but, so grad school wasn't it at the time, and so then I'm like, no, I just need to get more experience, I need to get more training, I want to be more active. So I just made this leap into the fitness industry and just kind of hit the reset button. So it was a few years of transition. But then...
dun, dun, dun.
So things evolved. I took whatever part-time work I needed to pay the bills. And I think you have to be willing to do that sometimes. And nowadays there's no lack of opportunity to do that. So I worked some part-time jobs. I did get industry experience. I got management experience. I was recruited into my current industry and fell in love and said, these are the people I want to serve. Being in corporate wellness, working with people who are busy, stressed out adults, it was very meaningful work to me. But then, one day, I drive by this building. And I'm constantly looking at real estate. I don't know why, just because it's interesting to me. And I saw this building. I can see it. It was on State Street in Old Westerville. And I called the phone number, and I said, I want to see this space. And then I said, I want to rent this space. And before I knew it, I was starting a business. And I had no business plan. I had no financing. I had no idea how to start a business. I didn't know anything. I mean, I had zero business experience. But I knew I wanted to run my own show. And I knew I would do it differently, and I would do it my way. And I knew I would figure out how to pay the bills. And my parents were amazing, and they didn't ask any questions, and they were like, do it. So I was working other jobs. I started this business, and about a year into that business, I started another business. And then the year after that, my second business outperformed my first business. So the first business was more of a fitness studio, kind of a boutique studio before social media. So I just had to rely on people like walking in the door. But that got busy enough that I could let go of some of the part-time work. And then I started my corporate wellness company. And then by year 3, that company was outperforming my first company. So I made the difficult decision to let that one go. But it was like totally worth it because I figured out a business model that worked and was profitable. And it's a roller coaster ride. It is just a complete roller coaster ride. But I mean, that was 2006, 2007, 2008. That time period when it was the recession, everyone's complaining about they can't do things, and I did it anyway. And I survived the recession, so I don't like to use that as an excuse. And I often say entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, but I'm not getting off the ride.
I love that. If someone were to tell you, like, you'd be where you are now when you started, what do you think you would say?
I don't know. I mean, I just didn't worry about that. Like, I didn't worry about things not working out. Like, I just believed things would work out. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but I remember a family member saying, like, I can't believe she's doing this. I wonder what's going to happen. And I don't know. I always trusted that things would work out. And I know that I'm not the type of person that's just going to go down. I mean, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to figure it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But then I know, you know. I think getting to 10 years in business, so that was 2 years ago, was our 10-year anniversary, and that felt like a really big deal.
Do you feel like it's gotten easier the more you've been, like the longer you've been at business?
I don't know that it gets easier. I think I bounce back a little better. I think I bounce back better. I think there's always surprises. I mean, you can't control other people. You can't control all decisions that are made. So, of course, there's surprises. And, you know, sometimes I map out my year and I've got this game plan and it's like really strategic, and then something happens. And sometimes really beautiful, amazing opportunities land in your lap, or things happen that you've been working hard on. And sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes things don't play out. So, I try to be in the moment with all of it, and like just today I got some news that was surprising and unexpected, but I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. And I think I say this a lot too, like life just keeps happening. Like really big life things just will always happen, and so I do feel like we become, as business people and just as humans, more resilient if we choose to be.
I love that. I think a lot of times people compare somebody's chapter 20 to someone's chapter 1. So somebody that's in chapter 1 or about to start chapter 1 and has a like amazing business idea, but they see you, what would you say to them? To somebody that's like first starting? Like, what do you wish somebody would have told you when you started chapter 1?
It takes time. It takes a little time to get maybe your first client. And I think people panic, like I don't have a business plan, and I don't have my menu of services, and I don't have my website, and I don't have, and it's like, you just need to get a client, and then you'll have those things. And I think it took me a year to get my first corporate client, but it was so worth it. And that group has been with me 11 years or whatever, 12, almost 12. So I think getting the first win can take time. So rather than working on everything being perfect before you put it out into the world, I think you have to put whatever your product or service is out into the world and sell it. And once somebody sells it, you'll have all of that. Like you'll have some of what you need to create the website and some of the other things. I mean, I think the most important thing is to just start doing the work and not get hung up getting all your ducks in a row before you're doing the work.
That's huge. I love that. Yeah. What is next for you? What can we expect from you? What's next for you? And on your goal plan that you mentioned? Or what's on your heart?
I just love to create. So I think now I'm just intended to create multiple businesses, obviously, and I like to create jobs. I like to write. I want to write books. I want to write books for personal and professional development. A little fun fact that I haven't told people is that I'm also wanting to write children's books because they entertain me. So I'm just meant to create, and I tell this to people all the time. My hands down favorite quote right now is that life is about the people you meet and what you create with them. So I love people. I love ideas. I don't run with all of the ideas. I run with a lot of the ideas, but I'm just really inspired by what's possible and what we can create individually and collectively, and putting all of that out into the world. It makes life meaningful and more interesting, and yeah, so I guess I'm not going anywhere.
You better not. What's giving you the most joy right now in your life?
The most joy. I mean, lots of things give me joy. I don't know if I can land on just one. I think in this exact moment, I'm just really grateful to have the ability to control my day. So what I didn't mention is when you're on the entrepreneurial roller coaster and it's really hard and you're like, why do I do this? I mean, I think like 50 times in the first 10 years, I would have a crying meltdown and say, why did I choose this? Why did I choose the harder way? Why did I choose to take the risk and the liability? And why did I choose to hire people that maybe they get paid before I get paid? And, you know, especially early on, it's like, why did I choose that? And then I have to go down my list of whys. Like, I'm meant to do this, it's meaningful to me, it's serving other people, it's putting my gifts and talents out into the world, I get to create my own day, I have unlimited time off, I get to be at my kids' preschool or regular school, or if somebody's sick, or if I'm just having a crap day, you know, I control my day. And of course, I respond to a client's need as well, and that's super important, and they come first as well. But there's so much that I get to have a say over, and that feels really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So
any last words of inspiration?
I think the only other thing I really wanted to touch on was a little bit of law of attraction.
Yeah, like what?
Like, it was a cold winter day, and I went to my roundtable group, which is this business, women's business group that I'm in, and everyone was talking about like their wins and their challenges, and half joking, but not. I was like, you guys, I just need $30,000. If I have $30,000, I can sleep. It's going to be good. I can stop crying. And I mean, about 2 weeks later, I had $30,000, like literally a $30,000 check, because of an opportunity that came to be, and right at the exact same time. And that's sort of how I feel about business. And I know it's like a super hippy-dippy way to do business, but I just trust. Like, it doesn't stay all up and it doesn't stay all down. It's like this dance, which is perfect because I'm a dancer. And it's this dance, and sometimes things just happen that can't be explained, and at the perfect time. And there's abundance everywhere, and it's just amazing. And so when people tell me they want to be self-employed and they're hesitant to do it, and how am I going to do this and how I'm going to do that, and I'm like, well, you have to get creative. Like, you don't just sit on your couch and do nothing. Like, I worked all kinds of part-time jobs that I was overqualified for, and, you know, weren't really my passion, but it was just to pay the bills until I got this vision up and running. And but so many beautiful things happened. Like, I literally opened my mailbox and there would be a check. So if you trust the process and trust, I say trust the universe all the time, and it sounds really hippie, and I'm not that hippie, but I just trusted that things would work out. You know, I'm not, for being a real anxious person, I just didn't worry about that. So,
why do you think that is? Because it's really easy to like go in fight or flight mode and freak out and give up or say this isn't going to work. What do you think it was for you?
So I think in some ways I actually feel like I do have control. I think you could take one of two mindsets and say being self-employed is too scary and I don't have control, and you know, I need to know what I'm going to get paid, and people say all of those things. But it's like if you go to a traditional full-time salary job, it's not a sure thing. You know, you could be let go or laid off at any time. Mm-hmm. So in some ways, I actually feel like I have more control. And so when something's not working or not going well, I actually feel like I have some skills that I can draw from and some options. And so I just didn't worry, because even though it's the harder option, I actually feel a little bit more in control. And I think when you have anxiety, you want to have control. Mm-hmm. So I control my schedule, I control how I price things. I control my day, and that I think feels powerful to me.